think people want an apology. I hope that you give that to them.
I agree with you. I think that they do want an apology, and I am sorry. Here's the thing, is when you mess up and when you make a mistake and do something wrong, sometimes you got to keep apologizing for it. And that's what I should have done. My intention wasn't to hurt or do anything negative ever. Now, that doesn't mean that people weren't hurt.
Right.
And that's the part that I wish I had paid more attention to. But I obviously didn't handle the situation the way that I should have. And it's really embarrassing. I wish that I could handle it a lot differently than I did.
When you say that, are you talking about like the apology
Talking
videos?
about a musical instrument that I should have not picked up. And people keep saying it's an apology song. I didn't apologize in that thing.
You did not.
I did not.
You know what?
There
You are
was
correct.
no
You did not
sorry
apologize.
in that.
That was some crazy penmanship.
That's why I keep saying I wish that I had just paused for a second and listened to my fans, to my supporters.
And process.
Because while there were things being said about me that weren't true, my people who had supported me for so many years that I'm up here saying, like, I just wanted them to be happy. I wanted to make them happy. Well, they wanted an explanation. They wanted to understand what's going on. And they deserved that. And I didn't give it to them. Instead, I was angry and sang a song, and it was just crazy.
It blew shit up.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was.
I'm aware.
Okay, just letting you know, that was crazy, bro.
Absolutely crazy. Like you were saying, I did want to address it, and I was being told. I got a lot of advice from a lot of people, and the majority of the advice was don't say anything. Don't address it, don't say anything, it will just make it worse. Don't address it, don't say anything, it'll just make it worse. But
the internet is going wild right now because Colleen Ballinger finally decided to speak up about her cancellation, and the reaction is heavy. She pulled up to Raven-Symoné and her wife Miranda's podcast to talk about everything, and people are heated. They're calling out Raven, calling out Miranda, and dragging them for giving Colleen such a big platform like that. It's wild out here, so we gotta break down what everybody's saying. When I first saw the clip, I honestly thought it was something old because no way Raven and Miranda really sat down with Colleen recently to discuss her whole career and her cancellation. But then I checked the comments and someone said, "Yep, this was posted today." And that's when I knew this situation was about to blow up. I saw it on TikTok first, and sure enough, on Thursday, they dropped a video titled, "Exclusive Colleen Ballinger Tells Her Side." And from the title alone, I knew we were in for something. And get this, somebody pointed out that the original title was Colleen's Actual Apology, which is wild because people said she never apologized unless she was pushed to do it. So they switched it to Telling Her Side, which had folks calling the move diabolical. Raven and Miranda opened the podcast saying they had never met Colleen before and felt that enough time had passed since her 2023 cancellation for a real conversation. They said they weren't trying to dig into every single detail, but wanted to understand the human side behind the headlines. And honestly, when they started recapping her career before showing the interview, I low-key forgot how mainstream Colleen and the Miranda character got. I remember the Netflix show. I remember Broadway, but I completely blanked on how many late-night shows she popped up on. It was kind of shocking to see it all laid out like that. But right away, the comments were furious that they even agreed to interview her. And once people watched what she had to say, that made them even more upset. Colleen claimed in the interview that the Miranda character was never meant for kids. She said it was made for adults. She even said that when Netflix saw how many kids were showing up to her live shows, they wanted her series on the Kids app, but she refused because she felt it wasn't appropriate. She insisted Miranda was for adults, even though she clearly knew kids were the ones watching the most. And it really sounded like she was dancing around fully admitting that she leaned into that younger audience to build her fame and bring in money.
Let's talk about JoJo for a second. So we know JoJo. You
What
know
up, Joe?
JoJo. You became friends with her when she was how old?
I first met JoJo, I think she was 11 when I met her and her mom for dinner because JoJo was a fan. And she and another girl from the Dance Mom show wanted to meet me, so I went to dinner with them.
Some people will say that that was an inappropriate friendship for you two to develop since she was 11 and you were an adult. What thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at it as a friendship at first. She was 11.
Yeah.
And I looked at it as a sweet young girl. I loved the show she was on, and she liked my videos and looked up to me, and she wanted to meet me. And to me, I wasn't looking at it as like becoming best friends with her when I met her. It was just a sweet meeting. And then she's a hustler. You guys know JoJo? She immediately was like, well, I had a video called Colleen's Corner that I answered questions every week. So she did JoJo's Juice to do the same kind of, she kind of looked at me as like a mentor, someone she looked up to. And, I don't want to speak for JoJo, though. It feels weird talking about this without her here, but she can say this herself if she wants. But, so over time we became friends because she was such a hustler. She'd want to collaborate. And so we'd get together and make videos together.
Which was also very common for YouTubers and fellow people in the world to want to collaborate and get to know each other, feed off each other's videos.
Right. So, yes, we became friends, but it always felt more like a family thing because I'm a big family person. Like, I love my family. I'm always with my family. We're always hanging out. We're always having family.
I mean, years ago, most adults weren't out here talking about the Dolan twins or making slime content. It was obvious she was leaning into a younger crowd, even if she didn't want to straight up say it. Later, she does admit she knew her audience was younger, but she said she didn't adjust her comedy at all because she wasn't thinking about things like power dynamics or parasocial relationships at the time. But let's be real, she definitely adjusted something. In the screenshot people shared, she's seen talking about the Dolan twins and slime, which were huge with kids back then. She mixed adult-style humor with kid-friendly topics to pull in clicks, views, and attention, making content that felt playful on the surface but wasn't actually meant for children. So yeah, she made adjustments, just not the ones she's claiming now. And that's what people are calling out. She's saying the content was strictly for adults, but the style and topics show she was clearly aware a younger audience was watching, even if she wasn't thinking about deeper power dynamics back then. She also said she didn't change the way she interacted with fans because she claimed she wasn't thinking about how those relationships could be viewed or how much influence she had during that time. She says she should have been more responsible, but claims she was thinking the same way some fans were at the time, which is wild to hear now. She also says she's disappointed in herself for not understanding things better back then. She keeps saying she just wanted people to like her, and that's why she talked the way she did, which definitely raised some eyebrows. When the cancellation comes up, she says she wishes she had listened more instead of stressing over things she believed weren't true about her. And then Raven goes straight to the heavy topic and asks her directly about the grooming allegations, which instantly shifted the whole vibe of the interview. Colleen admits she wishes she handled everything differently and says it's embarrassing to look back at how she actually responded. She even admits the ukulele video should have never been posted in the first place. Raven tells her plainly that people are still waiting for a real apology, and you could feel the tension in that moment. Now, I gotta say, the whole setup felt a little confusing. The way Colleen talked about promoting her appearance on Raven's podcast made it sound like her team might have been reaching out behind the scenes, looking for a place where she could speak publicly. Maybe they sent out a few messages and Raven's team said, "All right, let's do it." And honestly, it didn't feel like Raven and Miranda were super familiar with Colleen before this interview, judging by the questions and the reactions they had. There were moments where Raven looked straight up shocked at some of the things Colleen said, especially when Colleen talked about the ukulele video and admitted she was a complete mess during that time. Colleen goes on to repeat that she regrets making that video, which makes it even more confusing that it's still up online. It's strange for someone to say they regret something so deeply, yet leave it posted for the world to see. People are definitely calling that out. Like, how are viewers supposed to believe the regret is real if the video stays untouched on her channel? She also once again denies the claims against her and says she wants nothing to do with anything involving harming children. She says that isn't who she is and not someone she wants to be connected with at all. She says hearing those accusations tied to her name is devastating and something she knows will follow her forever. Raven brings up her live shows next, especially moments where younger audience members were involved on stage and later talked about having uncomfortable or traumatic experiences, including the yoga challenge moment. Colleen says yoga challenges were trending on YouTube at the time, and she genuinely never viewed it as something wrong back then. She says that hearing someone found it traumatizing made her feel horrible. She also says she's proud of anyone who speaks up about something that made them uncomfortable, which people online definitely had thoughts about. A lot of people in the comments are pointing out that Colleen never reached out directly to the individuals who came forward. No messages, no DMs, nothing. That's one of the biggest reasons people say she's never delivered a real apology. Sure, she said sorry on the podcast when they asked her. But viewers feel like taking accountability means directly addressing the people who spoke up, not just saying something publicly when prompted. Later in the interview, she even talks about the situation where she sent lingerie to a fan. She calls herself an idiot for doing that and explains she was giving away clothes during a charity live stream. She says she hesitated but ended up going through with it anyway and now admits it wasn't appropriate and definitely looked bad. She later says again that it was her responsibility to know better and that she should have understood things differently at the time, which became her answer for almost everything. That she just should have known better, even though she didn't back then. Then they bring up her close connection with JoJo Siwa, because that was a huge talking point during her cancellation. JoJo defended her hardcore, and people were reacting like, JoJo, when you get older, you might view this whole thing differently. But honestly, JoJo has some very unique takes, so who knows if she'll ever see it another way. A lot of the internet was side-eyeing that friendship because they didn't understand why an adult entertainer was getting so close with a younger performer in the first place. Colleen says she met JoJo, her mom, and another dancer from the show during that era, and she didn't even view it as a friendship at first. She says it eventually turned into one over time and that the collabs were more of a family environment than anything else. Toward the end, when she tries to address everything all at once, she circles back and says she should have known better. And even though she believes her intentions weren't harmful, she's glad people spoke up so she could see what wasn't okay. She says it needed to happen so she could grow. But a lot of people feel like if she genuinely believed that, she would have personally reached out to the people who shared their experiences. And that still hasn't happened. And like I mentioned before, the comments under Raven and Miranda's video are rough. People are dragging them for giving Colleen space to rewrite parts of the story, especially around the origins of the Miranda character and who the content was actually aimed at. Viewers felt she once again avoided giving direct apologies, and that the podcast wasn't the right move at all. But that's everything Colleen shared in this interview. It really makes you wonder why she suddenly wanted to speak out now. Like, is she trying to promote something coming soon? Because at the end of the podcast, when they asked her if she wanted to talk about her next project, she straight up said she didn't want to discuss it there. They told people to check her Instagram for what she's working on, which definitely made it seem like something is being set up behind the scenes. Whether that plan worked or failed, the comment section says it failed, only time will tell. But I really want to know what you all think about everything that went down here. Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this with someone who's been following the drama, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.